Hello everyone, it's Pikmin HD here. Today we're playing Pikmin. Pikmin is a 2001 real-time strategy puzzle video game developed and published by Nintendo for the GameCube. The game's story focuses on an alien pilot, Captain Olmar, who crash lands on a mysterious planet and must make use of native species called Pikmin to find his ship's missing parts in order to escape within 30 days. Pikmin was well received by critics and commercially successful, selling over 1 million copies worldwide. It spawned a series of sequels, starting with Pikmin 2, which I'll probably play later, which was released in 2004. The game was ported to the Wii in 2008, which is the version I played. The main goal in the game is to retrieve ship parts by using 3 varieties of Pikmin available in different combinations. Captain Olmar discovers multicoloured plant-animal hybrids that willingly follow his orders and help him recover all the parts. All 3 of the Pikmin colours that Olmar discovers must be used in order to overcome various obstacles to complete the game. The time limit is divided into 30 days, with the exception of the first day, which lasts until the player finds the first ship part. All days in the game are about 13 minutes in length. Well, with that said, let's get into Pikmin 1. The impact site. Oh, it looks so terrible, it's so good. There's the boy. You'll notice that my face cam is in the corner. Shortly that will be disappearing, and I will probably just do some voiceover afterwards, but it will suddenly disappear at one point. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone, and I am stranded. Oh my god, it's so zoomed in. After crashing into the planet and walking around in a very zoomed in state, we finally bump into the red Pikmin onion. We then make and pick some Pikmin, and then we make just a few more to get our magic 10, and then we move on to getting this big box out the way. We finally find the ship part. We then drag the ship part back to the ship, where it is then repaired or installed, giving us flight capabilities, allowing us to finish the first day. Day 2 takes us to the Forest of Hope. We start the day by breaking down some walls, killing some creatures, and then eventually finding a ship part. We carry it back to the ship and it gets absorbed. We then take down this pretty big guy who was blocking the doorway, and we knock down a wall, take care of a few more enemies, and then we bump into the yellow Pikmin. Yellow Pikmin are kinda special in this game, mainly because they can hold bomb rocks, which are really helpful for knocking down big stone walls, and there's quite a few of them in this game. For the rest of the day, we just knock down one more wall and make some more yellow Pikmin. We also discover there's another ship part on top of that wall, but unfortunately we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to come back another day. Day 3 starts off pretty strong. I basically beeline it over to the spaceship part and take it straight back to the ship. I then begin taking down this other big wall. It takes twice as many bomb rocks to get through it, hence the darker colour. We then gain access to the ship part, and then we drag it back to the ship. I also take some time to grow some more Pikmin, as I'm definitely going to need a lot more later on in the game. While I was out doing a little bit of extra exploration, I did come across another ship part. but I'm running out of time again, so I'll have to come back and get this one later. Day 4 starts and I begin it by just taking out this big guy and a few of the little ones behind it, and eventually getting hold of that ship part. Just 4 days into this game and I've already found 5 ship parts. Back when I was just a kid, getting to this level in the game was actually kind of painful because I didn't really know the controls, and it was on the Wii, and them controls were kind of clunky at the time.
What's going on?
So I'm pretty amazed that I've got this far, especially on the Switch. We eventually get another ship part back. We also unlock a bit more of the map, just from moving this little box. After I removed the box, I unfortunately walked into an enemy. I'd completely forgotten that these guys are actually over here in the game. Unfortunately for the enemy, I am a very experienced gamer, so I had absolutely no problems whatsoever in taking this creature out. Oh god, there's another one. After a quick but challenging fight, I eventually kill this enemy, and it drops a ship part. Excitedly, I scramble all my Pikmin to pick up the ship part and all of the goodies that I'd found on the way. Oh my god, are you joking? We eventually get the 6th ship part back. Whilst doing all of these fun things, I did in fact see a little bit of the ship part in the corner of the screen, so I decided to go and get this with whatever time I had left. With the very last few moments of the day, we did in fact get the last ship part back to the ship in time. And with that, the day had ended. The Forest Naval. The Forest Naval is home to water, frogs, fire. Everything here is made to kill you or make life extremely difficult. We first set about collecting anything good and killing anything bad. We also then move on to killing this mushroom thing. I don't know what it is, but we decided to kill it anyway. Upon killing the strange mushroom thing, it dropped a ship piece. I dragged the strange mushroom thing and the ship piece and any other junk that I had laying around back to my spacecraft. While I was on the way back to the spacecraft, I noticed there was another piece of a ship. Gingerly, I managed to get the piece off safe and sound. For some reason, the Pikmin decided to carry it at an obtuse angle, but as long as I get it back, I don't care. By now, the day had progressed a considerable amount, which means it's probably about now I should find the blue Pikmin. Blue Pikmin are special, mainly because they can go in water, and that's it. That's all they're really good for. They're waterproof. Nothing else really happens for the rest of the day, other than just farming and making more Pikmin. I return to the same place the next day and find another ship part. While the red Pikmin were taking the ship part back to the ship, I was actually using the blue and yellow Pikmin to fight this fire creature. It did not go well. Somehow in that time, the ship part managed to get back to the ship, and I had managed to make some more terrible life choices. I also knocked down another barrier and start working on a bridge. I also found another ship part. But unfortunately, yet again, time is up and we need to end the day. I was feeling good about day 7. We were working on a bridge, we'd found some more treasure. Surely nothing could go wrong, right? Everything on day 7 went wrong, mainly down to the fact that I used the wrong Pikmin for almost every single task. Yellow Pikmin can be thrown further and higher, and for some reason I didn't bring them to reach this treasure. I then used the blue Pikmin to walk through fire. Not learning from my mistakes 5 minutes ago, I again tried to make them walk through fire. After recovering from my quick nervous breakdown, I decided to use red Pikmin. A short while later, I was back to using blue Pikmin against fire enemies. This did not go well. I was using Captain Almar to distract the enemies from my Pikmin as they carried the treasure past. Unfortunately, I was on very low health, and as a result of that, I took some major damage. I had died, and because I had died during the day, and whilst all my Pikmin were doing things, they had also died too. So, starting day 8, I did what I could do, and that was collect the treasure that almost made it back to the ship, and drag the other treasure, which was nowhere near the ship, and plucked the only last remaining blue Pikmin. Although day 7 was absolutely terrible, we have managed to collect 12 out of the 30 parts. A short while later, it had finally sunk in that I literally only had one blue Pikmin, meaning I'd have to start again and build up a whole army using whatever is around. Rather than build up an army of blue Pikmin, I decided to open up some more barriers using the yellow Pikmin with bombs. After I'd finished bombing loads of barriers, I remembered I was on a time limit of 30 days, so I thought with the rest of the day, I should probably build up my army of blue Pikmin. A short while later, the day had finally ended, and I'd made an army of about 15 blue Pikmin. Just like a wise man named Borat once said, great success. We collected enough parts in the Forest Naval, allowing us to unlock a new area, the Distant Spring. The Distant Spring is my favourite place in the game. It has a nice relaxing soundtrack, and there aren't too many enemies to deal with, and easy to complete puzzles. It's mostly covered in water, so blue Pikmin are a must for this location. After scouting out the map for a short while, and enjoying the soundtrack, I began taking out some enemies to make the area much safer. With all the enemies now dead, I used the blue Pikmin to grow some more of them. I also took some time using yellow Pikmin to knock down some of the barriers around the map. While I had the yellow Pikmin out, I noticed a treasure on a very high ledge. Being that this treasure is very high up and surrounded by water, you need to be methodical and use yellow Pikmin to throw them behind a barrier and walk them along to the treasure. Once the treasure had fallen off of its perch, I could then use the blue Pikmin to drag it through the water back to the ship. Nearing the end of the day, I decided to start opening up a bridge so I could expand the map just a bit more. A short while later, our first day in the Distant Spring had finally ended. We return to the Distant Spring and immediately take out a frog and get working on that bridge again. I also took some time to knock down some more barriers, and I meet up with my blue Pikmin, where we discover another ship part. Amazingly, the boys in blue carried it around the enemy, meaning I didn't have to disturb him. While all that was all going on, I was taking down another barrier. With the day slowly coming to an end, I used blue Pikmin to knock down a barrier. I also found some more treasure, and with the last few seconds of the day, I got it the majority of the way back to the ship. On day 11, we finish up where we left off the day before. Me and a frog decided to have a staring competition. Unfortunately, I'm quite competitive, so I killed the frog so he could no longer stare at me, meaning I'd won the competition. I then watched the day slowly go by as I watched 43 Pikmin take their sweet time constructing a bridge. I then realised I didn't even have enough Pikmin to take the ship part back. I needed 50 and I only had 43. So I went off exploring again and managed to bump into another treasure. Thankfully, I had enough Pikmin to carry it back to the ship. Somehow, my Pikmin had managed to navigate a minefield of enemies without being distracted or killed. Maybe blue Pikmin aren't that bad after all. Nah, I'm joking, they're terrible. We take out some big guys and use some yellows to reach a treasure that's quite high up. And then we finish the day off by plucking loads of blue Pikmin. On day 12, I wanted to focus on treasure in the middle of the map. I used half my Pikmin to pick up this ship part, and the remaining Pikmin to take out this big beetle thing. It's not the easiest thing to kill, mainly because it's completely armoured other than the red thing in its back. The way to kill it is to shoot a Pikmin in its blowhole just before it shoots a big boulder at you. After losing 18 Pikmin, the fight is finally over and it drops a ship part for me. I call the rest of my Pikmin to help carry it all back. While they carry the treasure back for me, I find another piece of treasure in the corner of the map. Very high up, but surrounded by water. There's also another one nearby, so I could probably get that at the same time. Getting this part was actually quite easy. All I really needed was blue Pikmin and a good throw. The other part, however, will have to wait till tomorrow, mainly because it requires yellow Pikmin and a bit of brain power. The next day, I get my yellow Pikmin and head straight over. I throw some yellow Pikmin onto the island surrounded by water. I then realise that even standing very close to the edge, my Pikmin would not reach the other side. I then realised I didn't need to throw them to the other side, I just needed to throw them down. I throw my yellow Pikmin up, and kindly, they gracefully bring it back down for me. I swap over to the blue Pikmin and get them to carry it back for me. That meant there was only one more piece to get, which was inside of this big floating thing. It dies and then drops another piece of the ship part. While my Pikmin were carrying the ship part back, I decided to investigate this egg thing. This turned out to be a truly terrible decision. Upon the strange egg thing hatching, a big green creature appears, and I didn't notice at first, but it is killing my Pikmin very quickly. I decided to head back to the ship to get more of my Pikmin to help fight this strange creature. However, the big creature had already got there first. Not sure what else to do, I just started attacking it. Not realising at the time, but I was actually just sending all my Pikmin to their doom. Now that I successfully killed 97 of my Pikmin, where I originally started with 100, I decided to end the day before I made more bad choices. Now that I collected all the treasures in the distant spring, it was now time to travel to the Forest Naval to finish off collecting parts there. Venturing out with 44 yellow Pikmin, I decided to hunt down treasure. In this area, I was greeted to a rather large spider that instantly killed 8 of my Pikmin. A short while later, I defeated the rather large spider, and unfortunately 23 more deaths had happened, but we did get another part of the ship. This bread bug has a really nasty obsession with stealing things. The only way I could damage it is to let my Pikmin carry something to the onion. At some point, whilst I was out adventuring and the Pikmin were carrying things back to the onion, the bread bug must have picked it up and actually dropped another part of the ship. Nearing the end of the day, I made sure to get this ship part that was surrounded by water. While the treasure was being carried back, I was working on some enemies, hoping to grow some more Pikmin. Unfortunately, my army of Pikmin couldn't get it all the way back in time, so unfortunately we had to end the day again. Day 15 starts and I get the treasure that almost made it back. I then work on taking out some fire elemental enemies. I do this so I don't have another nervous mental breakdown. Next, we work on the ship part that was very high up. Previously, I used the blue ones to try and get up here, and that didn't work. So, this time, we're using the correct ones. Soon enough, the ship part got back, and it was time to end the day again. With all the pieces found at the Forest Naval, it was now time to come back to the impact site. We find a clan with a ship part in it, and a short while later, the treasure is ours. We then fly over to the Forest of Hope to hunt down the last 2 treasures. We first get started by building a bridge and knocking down some barriers. Finally, when the bridge was done, we could walk on it and go and find our treasure, and then drag it back to the ship. My other team of blue Pikmin were busy taking down 2 barriers, and then we were greeted by this big beetle again. Thankfully, he didn't put up much of a fight, meaning I could collect the other ship part. In just 17 days, I had managed to collect all 29 pieces of the spaceship, meaning I was able to take on the final stage of the game. The final trial. I start the day by scouting out the area. I also get started on building some bridges. I also take some time to move a box out the way, break down a stone barrier, and I also knock down another barrier. Unsure of what I'd be facing, I sent my captain in to investigate. Shocked at what I'd just witnessed emerge from the floor, I scrambled my Pikmin. I then worked out with a well-timed throw, I could use the yellow Pikmin to do hardly any damage. Some stumbling around later, and the animal had decided to eat one of my Pikmin carrying a bomb rock. This knocked the animal down and allowed me to use my Pikmin to attack it more safely. My once 100 strong Pikmin army had now been reduced by a considerable amount. Things weren't looking good. The day had progressed a considerable amount, I'd done hardly any damage, and I'd lost quite a few Pikmin. As a last ditched effort, I decided to get some more red Pikmin out to see if they could help me aid the fight. Unfortunately, they died as well. However, I had damaged the boss quite a bit, but unfortunately it's not enough to take it down. After a long battle and more than 200 deaths, I was left with only 1 red Pikmin, meaning I would have to come back tomorrow and try it all again. It was time to lock in. The fight was well underway. A good amount of damage was being done. Slowly but surely, my small army was doing a lot of damage. At this point, I'd had 19 days worth of experience. This really was the final trial. It had all led up to this point. Finally, I had killed the beast and found the last remaining treasure. All that was left to do was to carry it back to the ship for the last and final time. It had been a long and hard journey, but we got there in the end. Sure, we had some silly deaths and some funny moments, but in the end it was all worth it. I can honestly say, coming back and playing an old game that I played as a kid was really enjoyable. It brings back really good memories. At the end of the game, we get to watch a really nice cutscene of all the Pikmin. We then fly away, and we also get to see the disastrous statistics of the game that I just played. Yeesh, I killed a lot of them. Well, with Pikmin 1 now complete, there's only one thing else I can really do, and that's play Pikmin 2.